we're actually talking around the main subject in the news, which is Huawei.
Right.
And I think this is just, a great case study in a company that may be subverting American interests, or maybe not. But at the same time, Huawei's technology has proved to be vital in internet systems in the Midwest.
Fifth generation, 5G.
Yeah, and you're seeing these stories that if Huawei is banned, there's a lot of communities that will suffer.
Right.
And maybe you can talk a little bit about that situation.
Well, this is a case where the Chinese state-run system, state-owned enterprise system, has surprised us with coming up with an advanced technology that we didn't really think that they could do this. So they're trying to do this across the board: quantum computing, supercomputers, on and on, artificial intelligence, on and on. They are trying to use their considerable wealth and legitimate expertise, as well as stolen expertise, to leapfrog us. They are attempting to leapfrog us. So here's a case where they have come up with a technology we have no answer for. We were caught sleeping, in effect. This is like Sputnik in the 50s, in my mind, that here they come with 5G, rolling it out around the world, and we don't have an answer to it. The only other makers of these systems are Ericsson and Nokia. So what can we do? Well, so the Trump administration is fighting what I would call a rearguard action to tar them, to arrest Ms. Meng in Canada, to whip up the case in Seattle about T-Mobile, to vilify them, to put diplomatic pressure. But it begs the question of how are we going to develop our own technologies so that we're not surprised by further Huawei's?
Are you suggesting that what the Trump administration is doing is really sour grapes, that they don't have a legitimate case against Huawei?
Well, I think they do have a legitimate case in the sense that if it's a PLA outgrowth, if the Chinese government were to ask Huawei to tap a certain set of records or a certain network, there's just no question in my mind that they would do it. The Chinese passed a law a couple of years ago that say any Chinese entity operating anywhere in the world, if asked by a Chinese government agency for assistance, they have to render it. It's a matter of Chinese law. And I think the matter of they share a common cause. So I agree that it poses a threat, but the burning question in my mind is, how do we organize ourselves to prevent more of these from happening?
Well, that's the question. How? I mean,
well, in my book, I say that we need to harden our targets, but we need to get serious about what are our technology policies. What are the relationships between universities, the money people, governments? How do we jumpstart our commercialization of new ideas? Right now, I'd say we still are best at coming up with the fresh new ideas, the cutting edge, bleeding edge ideas. But it takes us too long to develop them because of access to capital, of our system is not as fast as the Chinese system seems to be in taking these ideas and blowing them up, making them happen.
And what about American companies that are working in China? And there's been a couple of examples lately of American companies that have been involved in building these detention camps in Xinjiang,
right.
Doing a lot of things that we may not approve of.
Well, if current trend lines continue and the narrative continues to get built that we're engaged in fundamental confrontation with China, that they have built an authoritarian state and extending it around the world, and if this narrative continues to build, the pressures on Intel are going to be considerable. They sell more semiconductors in China than they do in the United States. The pressures on Apple are going to be intense. NVIDIA, other companies that are selling directly into the surveillance capabilities that they're building are going to come under pressure. So the whole American semiconductor industry right now sells $11 billion a year of chips to Huawei, right? So if that shuts down, then we're going to find our high-tech sector is getting caught in between.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it's kind of too late. We're shutting the door after the horse has escaped, or
right.
And certainly, my impression when I was reporting in China was that American companies were not really, quick to embrace human rights or democracy concerns. that, they were just really in it for the money, money, money. And even when they were exploited, when their technology was stolen, they were very unwilling to speak up.
Right. They're caught in a very tough spot. And we Americans, including our corporate leadership, didn't see this coming. We were somewhat naive. We thought that the Chinese would gradually embrace our Western values. They weren't going to kick the Communist Party out, but they were going to embrace some pluralism, some blossoming of civil rights, some blossoming of human rights, and that gradually China would slot into a world order that was established after World War II. But the Chinese are clearly demonstrating that they have their own agenda. They are trying to slot us into their world agenda, their world order, and that they don't respect our institutions or our values. So now, and this, I attribute this largely to Xi Jinping. So now that he is now ruler for life, for as long as he chooses to be ruler, these pressures are going to build on American business to decide whose side they're on.
I would dare say that they're on their own side, or on the side of the shareholders. Without pressure from the U.S. government, they're not going to really pull back.
It's very difficult. I mean, what would happen if there was a human rights campaign against Apple or Intel, and so shareholders, the sisters of good charity who sue companies, said we can no longer morally support a company that does these things. So it could emerge as a major issue in boardrooms.
Although it amazes me how much it has not emerged as a major issue in boardrooms, and certainly those of us who were reporting in China, we wrote quite a bit about Foxconn, the Taiwanese company that's a big supplier to Apple, which had a lot of worker suicides, and they seem to go through the motions of expressing concern, but not much changes.
No, not much changes.